Don't miss Clownfish Studios' latest crowdfunder, Crimson Wren Volume 1 on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Thaddeus Wendell's greatest treasure is out there, and it's up to young mage Crimson Wren and the crew of a rundown airship called the True North to find it. But will they find it in time? Crimson Wren of the True North is a race against the clock filled with action, adventure, comedy, and heart. This is a brand new manga-style graphic novel from Clownfish Studios. Go to crimsonwren.com or check it out on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. It ends on November 18th. That's November 18th. And now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
A founder.
I'm here.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the job apocalypse. That's what they're actually calling it. They said that there's going to be a job apocalypse this winter. That winter is here, and it's going to involve a lot of people working in tech, particularly digital media, losing their jobs.
That's not good.
It's not a good thing. It's also kind of an inevitable thing, as we have talked about at length on this channel. So many of these websites, so many of these social media outlets have been propped up by venture capital.
You have to actually make money.
You have to make money. Now it's time to pay the piper, and they're coming up short. So a lot of them are going to be sold off, or they're going to do layoffs or whatever. And normally I'd say, hey, I'm not real happy about people losing their jobs, but some of the people that are going to be on the receiving end of this have spent years demonizing fans, demonizing gamers, demonizing comic book creators.
What do you think was going to happen? You keep doing this, and then you're pissing you're shitting where you eat, I guess we'll say, and you're constantly crapping on the people that come to your blog, come to your platform. What do you think is going to happen long term?
I think people. Honestly, I think a lot of people working at these companies thought that the money was never going to run out. A lot of the executives working at these companies thought the money was never going to run out.
We've been telling them.
And this is one of those cases where I kind of hate to be right. And in some instances, I think some good people are going to get caught up in the net. But there were a lot of bad decisions made. The writing was on the wall years ago. And this is also going to be, I believe, a cleansing fire. We're going to see
cleansing like an enema.
Pretty much, yeah. Like an enema that burns. Your ass is going to burn. A lot of people's asses are going to be chapped. So we're gonna talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 280,000 subs.
Woo!
Thank you for the support. Almost 281,000. Go out to clownfishtv.com. And the reason I'm bringing this up, look, Admiral Akbar, is that we are trying to organically build up a kind of an old school pop culture news blog. We've been quietly hiring writers for a year or two now. We do have advertising support, but we know the ad rates are bad. So if you guys want to, help support, you can do that. I added a widget to do that.
Okay.
Let's talk about this, because not everybody is as lean and mean as Clownfish is. In fact, a lot of blogs getting sold off. We talked about Anime News Network. Were you in that video? I don't think you were in that video.
No, I wasn't, but I knew about it.
Yeah, Anime News Network got sold to Kadokawa. And the thing is they got sold on the cheap, as I understand it. Most of the people working there are actually contractors. They're not full-time, so I don't think they were really making gobs of money to begin with. And I can almost guarantee you that despite their promises, they probably will gut that blog and just use the URL, because if you type in anime news, it's like the #1 search result.
Right.
That's why they bought it. It's not because they like the people working there. I don't think they like the people working there. I think they tolerate them for now.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but it wouldn't surprise me, because I've seen other companies do that. They buy up their competitor because they want the spot.
Yes, and they always, it's happened with Nerdist. They got bought by Legendary, and then they got gutted when they were no longer useful, because the domain has weight, right? Gaming sites, we've talked about this. A lot of gaming journalists getting laid off. Again, they were working for sites, not trying to be that guy, but they were working for sites that were never sustainable. They were propped up by ridiculous ad rates and inflated numbers and venture capital. In the case of G4 TV, they thought they were going to stroll into YouTube, with a $25 million set.
I still can't wrap my head around that. And the Emperor's Throne Room, they couldn't actually film.
And they couldn't actually film it. And they thought they were going to, stroll in and be the biggest name on YouTube. And they were lucky to break 10, 15,000 views a day. Lots of people lost their jobs.
What's funny is layoffs and gaming unemployment trends. Look, you're hurting diverse people. They try like half-shaved head. It looks like an Asian person. I'm assuming a female by the looks of it.
Don't you assume
you're hurting, or could be non-binary. You're hurting, diverse people.
That literally
minorities.
When they started doing all the layoffs at Twitter, that was all over Twitter. It was like, you are hurting minorities by laying off half the staff.
Well, they did a picture they made up and just drew this picture, and then they're like, but look, that's not a real person.
You should feel really bad because this person got laid off. Facebook is getting ready to lay a bunch of people off. They're talking that they could be looking at Twitter level layoffs, that they could be gutting the company because they're just not making money. And they were warned, at least in the case of Facebook, there was a warning because they were cracking the whip on people, especially in advertising, like, you got to bring in money. And they're not bringing in enough money. And so now they're talking there are going to be large scale layoffs. But they're calling it the job apocalypse.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
The job apocalypse is arriving. Again, we've been telling you winter is coming. Mm-hmm. Winter is coming. And we're talking more people getting fired than got fired or laid off during the pandemic, mostly in tech, mostly in journalism. So this is coming from mishtalk.com. Huge tech layoffs begin, more coming. Who's on the chopping block? They talked about Twitter kicking it off. Facebook is not far behind. Meta is planning to begin large-scale layoffs this week, according to people familiar with the matter. And in what could be the largest round in a recent spate of tech job cuts after the industry's rapid growth during the pandemic. The layoffs are expected to affect many thousands of employees, and announcements are planned to come as soon as Wednesday, according to these people. Meta reported more than 87,000 employees at the end of September. Company officials already told employees to cancel non-essential travel beginning this week. The layoffs will be the first broad headcount reduction to occur in the company's 18-year history, while smaller on a percentage basis than cuts at Twitter Inc. this past week.
It could still wipe out more people.
It could wipe out more people. Yeah. That's what they're saying. They said that, because they've got 87,000 people. So if they lay off 10%, that's more than the total number of employees at Twitter. Right. Because, math. That's how math works.
That's how math works, yeah.
Well, here, look, he's doing math. Adam Taggart, latest headlines. Meta to begin large-scale layoffs. Twitter laying off half, 3,300 plus employees. Open Door laying off 18%. Stripe, 14%. Lyft, 13%. These are not small cuts, nor are these small companies. The job apocalypse is arriving. This is not good. It's going to get really ugly in Europe. Contagion is spreading like an out-of-control forest fire. More jobs, more people getting cut. I mean, I don't know what to tell you because a lot of this was never sustainable to begin with. And we're starting to see, I did a video earlier today talking about, James Gunn asking DC fans what they would like to see. And that is a step in the right direction. Same with Elon Musk with Twitter. Because now more than ever, it's going to be important to support the things you love, the platforms you love, and the market will correct itself.
Well, you can never make everyone happy. There's no way. However, you can make the majority happy. And that's what they seem to be against the last couple of years. And now it's biting them in the ass.
Yeah. So let's go back out to media companies, right? This is Axios. This was a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago, rather. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Time flies. You blink and it's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, right? So they're talking about, look at everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks. Snap had a 20% layoff of staff. Analysts expect the slowdown to continue well into 2023. The financial stress on big tech firms has killed most programs to pay publishers for their content. Pending U.S. antitrust legislation that would help local news companies get paid by Silicon Valley platforms seem doomed in Congress. The big picture, plummeting ad sales, this is a big one, has forced big media to reckon with an even bigger problem, cord cutting and a slowdown in consumer spending on subscriptions.
Which is going to come and hit places like Netflix, Disney, HBO, Warner, Discovery. Those places are going to get a hit because people are cutting back on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's too expensive, too many.
So what's Disney's solution? Charge more?
Charge more. Yeah.
Raise the prices?
Netflix made a lower cost tier that has ads, and that helps both the advertisers get, more ad spending out there to people, and it gives people a discount. You watch some commercials you would with regular TV anyway, and you get a deal. Disney, on the other hand, kept the lowest tier with ads, the base price they have now.
This is everything right here. News companies are also seeing a significant traffic slowdown in response to a post-Trump news cycle that's riddled with depressing headlines.
Pretty much.
Basically, they can't ride the Trump outrage train any longer. And so
we're left with depressing headlines.
So we're left with depressing headlines, basically them reporting of their own layoffs in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. I've noticed that some of the websites that we used to make fun of all the time are no longer posting rage bait articles.
As much. They still are, but not to the levels they were.
No, because there for a while, especially sites like the Mary Sue and even CBR, it was all Trump, toxic fans, bigots and misogynists. And now we're starting to see it was all bullshit. Mm-hmm. It was all done for rage bait. To keep the traffic up when the ad rates were good.
Well, that's what a lot of these, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And these journalists are yelling on Twitter about, then we have to make sure the information's correct. There was a lot of misinformation on blogs and journals and like that online stuff because they were just trying to get someone in there to watch it or to read it or whatever. And because of that, it wasn't always necessarily the truth.
Yeah.
You just wanted to get people to, yeah.
What? Fake news? What? No, impossible. The media can always be trusted to tell the truth, according to the media.
But nobody else that's not blue checked can be trusted to tell the truth about anything.
It's like truth serum. If you have a blue check, you always 100% tell the truth.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. The Washington Post is on track to lose money this year and has lost subscriptions in the Biden era because it's boring. You can't ride the Trump outrage train anymore. The Atlantic is staring at another year of roughly $10 million in losses. Other billionaire-backed publications, how come they can have publication? How come Elon Musk can't buy Twitter, but they can buy the LA Times? They're still struggling to find their footing in the digital era. For media startups, a murky economy and the outlook has created a difficult fundraising atmosphere. This killed any incentive to go public. Well, then do it small, do it sustainable, do it grassroots. Mm-hmm. Tell people the truth. Just give them the straight dope, right? Substack scrapped plans to raise money that affected comic book people. BuzzFeed today is valued by public investors at 16% of what it was valued at when it raised.
Only someone had said that was going to happen.
If only somebody said that BuzzFeed was worthless.
If only.
If only. Digital media giants like BDG Media, Vice Media, and Vox are exploring ways to either sell, or generate enough short-term cash to keep operations afloat.
It's like the stuff isn't working anymore because they're losing money because they turned on their audiences.
Pretty much.
If only somebody had said that was going to happen. If only.
If only there were people out there on the internet trying to warn people and trying to say, hey, this isn't the right way to go. Pinocchio turned back, only to be demonized, and in some cases harassed and doxxed by journalists working at these outlets. Called
alt-right Yahtzees.
Called alt-right Yahtzees. If only somebody had been there to try to steer them down the right path. And here we are. You're looking at your sad box there. Gamer girl, you're looking at your sad box, and a lot of other people are going to be looking at their sad boxes too. If they even worked in the office, a lot of people probably don't even. Probably just like, we're locking you out of the email. Goodbye. All right, we got to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, we'll talk later.
Bye.